Okay, today I'm going to teach you how to record in Audacity. And in the last video I showed you how to download Audacity and how to enable something called stereo mix. So if you don't see stereo mix in this drop down menu, go back to that other video and it shows you how to enable that. Okay, so let's record some drum sounds. So in my Discord server, you can click on that virtual drumming link and we'll go ahead and record some of these sounds here. Let's make it so that the drum set and Audacity take up half the screen so that we can play around here. And first thing we need to do is add a track. So go to tracks, add new, mono track, and then let's hit the red button and go over here to the drum set, and we will click the bass drum and then hit stop. Let's hear what that sounds like. Cool, so we recorded the bass drum and notice how it didn't pick up my voice. And that's because stereo mix is clicked here. If you want to record your voice, you will need to choose microphone. Okay, so in Audacity you can name the tracks by clicking on audio track name, and I'll name this bass drum. And now let's do a different drum. Let's do a closed hi-hat. So go to tracks, add new, mono, and let's just see what happens. Hit the record button and click the hi-hat, and notice something I don't want happened. It recorded the hi-hat here, but it also recorded the bass drum from the previous track, and that's because we didn't mute it. So let's try that again. Let's delete this track by double clicking and hitting delete. And now before we record the hi-hat, we need to mute the previous track. So mute that one by hitting that button, and then now we need to select down here, and it will select the track we want to record on. So hit the record button, and that did it properly. As you can see, it only recorded the hi-hat. So name the hi-hat track. And then now let's do one more. We'll do a crash cymbal. So make sure the top two tracks are muted and select the track you want to record on. Hit the record button, and then we'll go ahead and do the crash cymbal and stop. So now we can see all three different waves look a lot different, and I want to talk about why that is. The first thing I want to do is align them so I can look at them easier. So if you hit this time shift tool here, you can drag the recordings to where you want them. And the first thing I noticed is that the crash cymbal is a lot longer than the other instruments. And that's probably because the crash cymbal, when you hit it, it vibrates a lot longer than a hi-hat or a bass drum. So the length of the wave tells you how long it vibrates for. And now let's look at the height of the wave. So the height of the bass drum is a lot taller than the height of the hi-hat or the crash cymbal. And height means amplitude. And the higher the amplitude, the louder it is. So the bass drum has a louder sound than the hi-hat. So it has a higher wave. And then for the third thing I want to talk about, you're going to have to zoom in. So go ahead and hit Control on your keyboard and use the scroll thing on your mouse. And you can go ahead and zoom in. And you see here, the bass drum really looks like a wave. And then let's zoom in a little further, and you can start to see that the hi-hat and the crash also look like waves when you zoom in further. But this distance from the top of this wave to the top of that wave is called wavelength. And the bass drum is spread out further, so it has a longer wavelength than the hi-hat and the crash. And long wavelengths mean it has lower pitch. So that must mean that the hi-hat and crash, they have shorter wavelengths. And that means that they have a higher pitch. So there you go. That's kind of how you can go ahead and you can look at a sound wave and kind of tell what it might sound like. So what you can do is go ahead and add more tracks, and you might want to analyze, what does the tom look like? What does the open hi-hat look like? And what does maybe the ride cymbal look like? And you can see what the waves look like and start to understand what waves do. And you can also start to learn how to use Audacity to record. And that's it.